Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hitting Hard. We've got a lot of things coming up to you to talk about tonight. Again, we have my co-host, Joe, and I do have one thing I do want to mention first before we go into our discussions tonight. One, of course, is the Maple Grove Haunters. Along with the Pirates of the Rusty Cutlass, they are building a yard haunt. Again, this is one of the largest yard haunts in Ohio. You definitely want to take the kids as well as your adult friends out there. They are going to be at 5275 12th Street Northeast in East Canton, Ohio. They are doing this for charity, for St. Jude's Children's Hospital. So it's definitely something that you want to go out to. I don't know if you have any friends that like going out to haunted houses. Do you?
Yes.
Well, this is something that you definitely want to check out. Again, all the proceeds are going to St. Jude's. Ages 16 and to adult, the ticket prices are $3 each. Ages 6 to 15, it's $2. And of course, any kids ages 5 and under are free. So they are starting that at the end of September, beginning September 21st. Be on the lookout for more information. To find out more information about it, you can actually contact the Maple Grove Haunters themselves. Their phone number is 330-754-6684. Well, Joe, I'm hearing there's some Dual Phoenix Productions live with Jason Brill.
Yes, indeed there is. We are actually creating a whole new segment for him, and it is going to be Dual Phoenix Live with Jason Brill. And to contact that, please go to 330-323-7943 and get in touch with Richard Stano. He will be helping with any of the contact information that you may have with that show. And please tune in and enjoy the lovely show with Jason Brill.
All right. Well, I've been hearing some things about some politicians getting a little greedy. Joe, what is going on?
Well, normally I'd be bashing Trump, but I figure I'd give him a day off because he's been getting hit pretty hard lately. So instead, I want to talk to you guys about a completely different country. This is happening in South Africa, and the vice president, who is the president's son, is getting in a lot of trouble in Paris for money laundering and for stealing public money from South Africa. It is reported that, and this is from CNN, that he has been buying a yacht and spending $800,000 a month on this yacht just for maintenance, as well as, and probably not limited to, a mansion, a Bugatti, a Ferrari, and a car manufacturer that's high-end. It's called Aston Martin, as well as very, very expensive European art and jewelry.
So, he likes to have some very fine things.
Yeah. And just to kind of add on that, his whole country is kind of in poverty.
So we steal from the poor and put it in our back pockets is what he's doing.
Oh, that's supposedly what he's doing, yes. And he is going on trial in Paris for this.
Oh, I see.
I would also like to mention that the president has been appointed for 4 terms, and their terms in South Africa are 7 years. So that's a total of 28 years this guy has been a president, claiming that it is a democracy and that his people have elected him.
His people elected him, and yet he's letting them live, basically, You know, you've seen a lot of pictures on the news of what certain areas of Africa look like. This is, again, South Africa specifically. Now, I don't know if this is how South Africans live, but any people who have seen infomercials, you've seen the dirt roads, you've seen the dirty water. Now, I don't know if that's the same type of area that what you're speaking of, but if it is...
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah. Specifically, it's the son of an Equatorial Guinea's president. So, yeah, that particular place is not that great. And he's been using tens of millions of dollars that was allegedly looted from the country.
Shame on you.
Yes.
Shame on you.
But the whole reason I bring this up, though, is because it goes to show you how easy it is that somebody in power can take the money from the state, from the country, from your very pockets, and use it for their own personal gain. For instance, the mayor of Ohio that we had previous to the one that we have now stole a bunch of money from the treasury, and guess what? We didn't get it back, guys.
So the question leads is to, should they have some sort of a fine? Because, if we don't do things such as pay taxes, we get fined every year. Fined upon fined. But yet, someone in a politician's standpoint, they take money and don't give it back. Should there not be a fine for them?
I'm sure that's part of what the trial is, but I feel like it should be something a little bit more severe than just a fine. I mean, you're talking billionaires. Billionaires, to them, a fine is just chump change. They're just going to literally Trump change, get it? But anyway, they'll just think, okay, I did something bad, I'm going to throw money at it, and the whole situation's going to go away. What did that teach them? That they can get away with it.
Well, I tell you, I hope that, things do come down the line and that South Africa does start turning things around. But speaking of Trump, the healthcare reform bill.
Yes.
I don't know if anybody has read any of the news articles out there lately on CNN or anything like that, but there is a lot of things going on with that. Just recently, I read an article, it was actually this morning that I read it, that they're cutting down on the federal funding for the state Medicaid programs, which means, now that's not all. This is just the tip of the iceberg here. Which, of course, means that less people would be able to be on Medicaid because they'd have to reduce the allowance for the income that they have to be on Medicaid. Of course, that's how I would believe how they would have to do it, because then they would, everything trickles down the line.
Right.
But then you also have it to where and I'm just so frustrated with this bill, people. I really, if you would go to CNN and take a look at this article posted today, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. They actually also, they want to keep the programs going for Obamacare, but they also want to change how they do it as far as the income, how old you are. They're changing these rates and deductibles and things to where it's going to be so much harder for people who are in the middle.
They're also adding to the pre-existing conditions list, too.
Right. So if you are in one of those families who don't quite meet the requirements of Medicaid, or you don't quite are able to afford the health plans that could give you good coverage, this is going to affect you.
They are literally butchering what we have already created for the Obamacare, or whatever you want to call it, and they're making it so that, yeah, it's affordable, yeah, you get coverage, but you're not getting the coverage that you need. You're getting the bare minimum. They're not going to cover everything for you, and you're still paying a hefty price for what you do get covered for. I mean, I don't know. you get this full package bundle of coverage, okay, and you're paying out the ass for it, basically, is what they're saying right now, which is not necessarily not true because healthcare is expensive. But let's say that you want to buy healthcare just for getting sick and going to the doctor when you absolutely need to. Okay, so that means that if you do just get that and something else happens, you're not covered now, so it's still going to be more expensive for you. And on top of that, let's say, for instance, that you're going to be part of the whatever percent of Americans that just say, fuck it, I'm not going to pay for this at all. You go to the ER for an extremely expensive thing, such as broken bones, surgeries, etc., etc. You go to the ER so that you don't have to pay for it. Who do you think is going to pay for that?
But that's another thing. I mean, you have to think about. I mean, you have these people. They're trying to repeal this. They say they're trying to make it better, but they're actually not. They're going to make it worse, and here's why. For the people in their 50s and 60s who are in that gap. You know, you're probably retired, but you're not old enough to get on to Medicare yet. They're going to change it as far as your premiums are going to raise. Now, which means those group of people who are already on Obamacare that cannot afford to go directly to the insurance company and say, you know what, I want this, I want a $5,000 deductible, I want $30 co-pays for these visits. The people that cannot afford that, they're going to Obamacare. But there's different types of Obamacare plans. There's the gold, there's the silver, and the bronze, which leads me to this. The bronze plans, if any of you know someone that is on a bronze plan, these are the people it's going to affect. Your premiums are going to raise. So if you already have a hard time affording these premiums, get ready, because they're going to get worse. And this is what I'm talking about. You know, before we went online, I said, if it doesn't affect you, it's going to affect someone you know. This is what I'm talking about.
And even if it doesn't affect you directly, like I said, it is going to affect you because those people that can't afford it are going to go to the ER. They're not going to be able to afford that bill. Somebody is going to be paying for that bill.
Yeah.
And if they're not going to, guess who it's going to be? You. In one form or another, you.
And they're also taking the subsidies that they're talking about there, and they're they're tightening up the eligibility for that. So if you have, you know, a middle class family, well, get ready, because you're going to go on a bumpy ride. If you think it's hard now, wait, because it's going to get worse. It is. I'm not just saying this. I'm not just making this up. Go to CNN, read the headlines, read the story, find out exactly what I'm talking about. You'll be quite upset too. And with the pre-existing conditions, they're talking about, they're gonna, this is laughable. Their Senate bill is going to allow the states to seek waivers of the pre-existing condition. So if you have a pre-existing condition, your state can go, you know what? No, you don't. So then it's not going to be covered. Your state would then have the right to waive that. Period.
And as I said, they are adding to the pre-existing conditions list, so. Right.
So it's, you know, some of these pre-existing conditions, they can go from migraines to GERD, which is gastroesophageal reflux disease. Anybody with acid reflux, heartburn, those types of issues, that's what we're talking about. These are not pre-existing conditions. You cannot have, that is not a pre-existing condition. You can wake up one day and say, oh, well, now I have heartburn. Maybe I ate too much pizza or whatever, what have you. And maybe you're overweight. That's going to continue. But it's not a pre-existing condition.
Basically, folks, if you ever got the sniffles before, you have a pre-existing condition, which means you're screwed.
And if anybody knows acid reflux has a tendency of turning into Barrett's esophagus disease, which is a bad disease. If you want to know more about that and you wonder what I'm asking, look it up. It's actually where stomach cells start. Your body tries to repair itself, and stomach cells grow up your esophagus. So that's actually precancerous. But moving on, this is something that does and can affect everybody. If it doesn't affect you, it will likely affect someone you know. So be on the lookout for that. I'm just really upset by that. But there is something else we want to show you.
Something that is more upsetting than the healthcare, I believe.
It is very upsetting, and we're going to talk about that as soon as you see this clip. We're going to go ahead and play it for you.
This is the new era of risk intelligence and a new role for finance leaders to adopt. Of course, becoming a data-inspired leader and decision maker is easier said than done. Getting on board requires putting the right technology and the right organizational components in the right place. And Dun & Bradstreet is here to help.
The squad is sent into a gas chamber, and gas is released.
Exposure to toxic chemicals is a shared experience for thousands from America's greatest generation.
If you haven't checked your mask carefully enough, you'll find out now.
More than 7 decades after World War II, hundreds of surviving veterans that participated in secret mustard gas experiments and other toxic training continue to suffer long-term health consequences, according to a congressional report. Like so many others, 90-year-old Army veteran Arla Harrell cannot definitively prove that his participation in secret experiments contributed to his health problems. His family says he suffered skin cancer, permanent scarring, and respiratory trouble, but without concrete proof, there is little help from the VA. According to that recent congressional report, the VA has denied about 90% of benefits claims from veterans like Harrell since 2005.
We've got to correct this injustice, and it's really important that Arla Harrell hear from his government that they believe him.
But now Harrell's senator, Democrat Claire McCaskill of Missouri, is fighting to get these veterans the help they need.
All right, so you just saw the clip, folks. I mean, veterans. These people have fought for our country, okay? They fought for your freedom. They have fought for us to continue living the lifestyle that we want to live. And we are denying them the right to live the lifestyle that they need to live.
And here's the problem with that, because what you have these, specifically here in World War II veterans who have been in secret trials for mustard gas, that they've then went and said, okay, I'm having these problems. I need your help to get better. Please treat me. And they're saying no.
Yeah, they are going so far as to saying they don't have definitive proof. Mustard gas. Come on, folks, it's a very distinguished thing. It was prominent in World War II. It's obvious that the testing was done on them, and they're saying there's not enough definitive proof? Come on! These folks have fought and died for our country, and you are going to refuse to treat them because there's not definitive proof?
But here's the problem. What they're saying, it was a secret trial that they had. So because it was, let's say, undercover, that aspect of the government has not went over to the VA, obviously, and said, hey, these people were listed in these trials. So when they, or if they do come in, let's give them the treatment that they need.
Yeah, the fact that the trials did exist was declassified, but the people that were actually part of it was not declassified? How does that make sense?
And that's the problem, because now they're going to the VA to help to seek treatment, and they're
Right.
getting refused or getting denied. They're saying, no, we're not going to pay for this. Here's how it relates today. Why is this so important? Because we do have veterans and we do have service people that are in top secret missions that we don't know about. Well, of course we don't, because then it wouldn't be top secret, okay? The issue with that is when they do come back to the States, and if they do go to seek treatment, are they also going to be refused? This is something serious, because you cannot treat people like this. You cannot ask them to do something for their country and then refuse them when they go ask for help.
Well, here's the thing, folks. The other thing that was not mentioned in that video but was in the report is that they were not asked to do this, okay? They were forced to go through these trials. There was another guy that went through a radiation experiment. They hooked up a Geiger counter to him and told him to walk through the damn radiation. They gave him no instruction. They gave him absolutely no protective gear. This is radiation, people. And they were monitoring radiation levels, the poisoning in the body, the effects that it has on you. And they're denying him any benefits whatsoever for that accident as well. Well, not an accident, it was an experiment. But the point being is, it's not like these people went into these top secret facilities and said, hey, can I sign a waiver and do a top secret experiment for you that may lead to permanent damaging to my body and skin? No, these people were forced to fucking do this. Okay? This is not asked of them. This was forced upon them. They did not have a choice.
You know, we have drug trials that people, the public, can partake in. You see those ads, you say, okay, yeah, some people partake, some don't. That's fine, whatever.
Some of them are really helpful.
Right. But then you have people such as this that do this. And then, you know, whether they're under the assumption that later on nothing could happen or something could happen is regardless. The point is you have people of your own country go through these things, and then you turn around and turn your back on them.
Yeah.
Where have we gone since the Vietnam War? Where have we been? And this is actually a World War II vet, so it actually goes beyond that. But there was a lot of this going on during Vietnam. A lot of people turning their backs on family and friends, all because of the Vietnam War. But if we turn your backs on World War II vets, who else are we gonna turn our backs on? The people fighting over today in other countries? Where does this stop?
The problem is it's basic human nature to be prejudiced, to be bigoted, and to be ignorant. And unfortunately, with some people, that's more prominent. And there is no way to, quote, fix that. You know, we all talk about equality, we all talk about being fair, and we gotta conform to people's feelings. But the people that actually deserve our attention and deserve us to reform to their feelings don't get it. Such as veterans, such as extreme accident survivors, or terrorist attack survivors. You know, those people get looked at, and the first thing that goes through people's minds is, wow, what a freak, because their skin is discolored or deformed or they're missing limbs. They can't help that, folks. It's not like they walked into a bar and said, hey, you know what, I'm going to chop my fucking arm off. No, they survived something traumatic. And they're the ones that always get beat up. When normal people like you guys walk down the street and bitch because someone didn't say hello back to you, yet you're the same ones that make fun of these folks and disrespect them. And, you know, I'm not saying you guys personally, but people in general. They're the first ones to attack these folks. And they're the first ones that don't deserve it.
And that brings me back to where we need to start with the health care reform bill that's going on and the issue with the mustard gas for the World War II veterans and, you know, the South African trials going on. We need to take care of our own people. We really do. I mean, to be honest with you, the only reason that I watch the news is because I want to know what's going on to see how it affects me and everybody out there for you. And I'm just so sick and tired of seeing things such as a health care bill or the veterans and what's going on with that and the mustard gas. And I'm thinking, well, how does it relate to us? How does it affect us every day? And that's why I said it was very important for you guys out there to watch today's episode so you know what's going on. Because a lot of you, you know, maybe out there, you may not watch the news every day. You may not be up on upcoming events. That's why that it was important for today's show that I tell you what's going on with the healthcare industry, because it will affect a lot of you.
Not a lot of you. It will affect all of you. In one form or another, it will affect everybody.
So, the only thing I can say is to buckle down and get ready, because things are going to change, and it's with the healthcare bill, it's not going to change for the better. It's not.
Not at all.
But I do want to wrap up today's episode. I do want to say, again, thank you for being here. I appreciate all of your help that you've done for this show. And again, Jason Brill, stay tuned for that. That is going to be coming up in the near future with Dual Phoenix Live. And Maple Grove Hunters, you want to go out there and see them this year, please go out. You're not going to think that you've ever wasted your time. You're going to love that.
And we have a pamphlet here.
Yes, we do.
Go ahead and hold it up for the camera.
If you're able to see that.
Oh.
Maple Grove Hunters. There's the address, the phone number, their website. Go ahead if you want to find out more information on whether it's kid-friendly, which it is. You have the number now to contact them. So, if there's anything you guys want to add, any questions you guys might have, comments, please bring them to us. We will answer them. And if we don't have the answers for them, we will research it for you and hopefully get your answers back to you as quickly as possible. I do want to thank you for watching tonight's episode. Anything you want to add for tonight?
Just thank you for tuning in, and please give us feedback. We love it. We'd love to know what we can do to make it better for you guys.
Have a good night.